This one is for all of you out there who are new to vinyl records. And if you're not new to records, stick around because you just might hear something that could be new to you or that you can impart to someone that you know who is interested in vinyl records. Basically, this one is all about the pitfalls to avoid. And there are many. Now, we're all ambassadors here, and one of the things about being an ambassador is helping others to discover the joys of vinyl. And it is especially the case when there are things to avoid. Now, look at it this way. Say you're looking for a new speaker, and one of the questions that you have is how to match your amp to your speaker or to find the right amp for the right speaker and vice versa. So you Google it. And if you ever try to Google matching amps to speakers, you are going to see a lot of opinions. And some of those opinions are even contradictory. I just wrote an article about this exact same thing over at joyofvinyl.com. It's a free article and not just for members. And I put it out there specifically to answer some of those questions in as simple as a way as I could put it. And that's what I consider this whole channel is all about, to help people and to share what I've learned because I am constantly learning. Now, if I ever say that I know everything there is to know about a particular subject, especially when it concerns vinyl and audio, well, then you know I'm full of shit. So this is for you, the person who is just starting out, and also for the wonderful community here who is also here to help you. Now, the world of vinyl records and also audio might seem a little bit overwhelming at first, but it doesn't need to be. You do not need to shoot for the perfect sound. Your goal as you begin your journey is really to just do a little bit better than the sound you're used to when you're listening to, say, your favorite streaming service and a pair of Bluetooth headphones or a Bluetooth speaker. Once you've achieved that, whether it equal that sound or slightly better, well, then you're on your way. The sky's the limit. You can tweak and add to it to your heart's content. But at first, let's cut through the static. So we're going to focus on what you need and what you don't need. You do want to start with a decent turntable. And I would tend to avoid those all-in-one solutions that look like a suitcase. What'll end up happening is you'll listen to it, you'll probably wonder what all the fuss is about, and you'll go back to your smartphone. You can get a decent turntable and a pair of powered speakers for just a little bit more than that all-in-one solution, and it doesn't cost a whole lot. And I have some suggestions at the store I put together, and I'll drop a link down in the show notes or the description of this show. And that's all you really need to begin, just an entry-level turntable and a pair of speakers. Well, yeah, you do need a vinyl record too. Used or new, it doesn't matter. I have plenty of tips here on this channel and in these videos on how to shop for new and used vinyl records. What you really don't need to focus on are the 180 gram records that you'll see a sticker on that says audiophile quality. They're fine, there's nothing wrong with those, but you really don't need to spend the extra money at first. You probably won't notice a difference in sound between a thicker record and a normal record, which is typically around 140 grams. I do want to show you something though. Check this out. See this record? I got this record back in the 70s, and it is extremely, extremely flexible. And this is probably the thinnest record I own. And it sounds just as good, if not better, than those 180 gram records that are out today.
Well, I could be wrong.
So that's pitfall number one, the idea that 180 gram records are better. Now, pitfall number two, and I think we'll do 5 today. Pitfall number 2 is all about interconnects and speaker cables. Now, do the more expensive ones make a difference? Well, they do, but not in all cases. Do you care when you're starting out? Not at all. There are very expensive speaker cables and interconnects that are out there. Interconnects, if you're not sure with the term, interconnects are just those cables that connect your components. They can run, the very high quality ones can run in the hundreds and even thousands of dollars in some cases. So if someone tells you that you need to focus on your cables when you're buying your first system, you don't. That's a rabbit hole you can fall into much later. Pitfall number three is expensive cleaning solutions. I'm a huge believer that both new and used records need to be cleaned. And there are a lot of cleaning solutions out there, and some are very strange. Yeah, that was wood glue. And there are some really cool machines for cleaning records. I actually own a couple of them. Both of mine are vacuum machines for cleaning the records, but they also have ultrasonic machines. Someday I'll break down, I think I've mentioned this before, I'll break down and check out a degritter someday. Someday. But do you need to start out with one? Not at all. You do need to start out with something though. The spin clean is a great option. A little bit expensive if your taste is only around $20 or so. I think the spin clean is going to be just shy of 100. You don't need that one. Great solution though. Remember, this is just to get you started. You have your entry-level turntable and your speakers. So what's the entry-level cleaning solution? Save some money and just go with a nice, easy solution like the one offered by Groove Washers. It's an excellent solution and it'll last you a very long time as you build your collection. Next is something else that I admit I am just getting into, and I've been doing this for years, and that's isolation. So we'll call this pitfall number 4. 4? 4. There's nothing worse than being excited about your first setup, showing a picture of it online, and then having folks rip it apart. Believe me, it happens all the time. Even when I show my setup, people will tell me what I'm doing wrong. You'll be told things like your speakers are too close to each other, too close to a wall, too close to this, too close to your component, and that your turntable's on the wrong shelf, any number of things. And they'll always tell you that you have to reduce the vibrations, which is completely, absolutely true. But starting out, don't worry about it. Stressing over the need to ensure that every component is isolated is something that you can worry about later. And like I said, I am just starting to not worry about it, but I am just starting now to look for ways to minimize vibrations to each component of my system. And like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I've always loved the sound I've been getting. I just realized that isolation does help. And this last one is an extremely easy one, and this one is pitfall number 5. Do not listen to unsolicited opinions that tell you what you should do. There is no such thing as should when it comes to enjoying your system and enjoying your music. There are always improvements that you can make later if you want to. Even the person with a $50,000 system can find something to improve about their sound. It's all about chasing the perfect sound, which you do not need to do, especially when you're starting out. All that matters is what sounds good to you. And just keep it simple. There is tremendous joy to be found in exploring the world of vinyl records. And don't let others ruin it for you. And don't let worrying about all these things like cables and isolation and a number of other things, don't let any of that worry you. Try to avoid getting caught up in listening to those self-proclaimed experts who tell you what you should do. Instead of smooth sailing, you'll end up like this. And what I do want to say is there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of wonderful people who watch this channel and comment on this channel. I would say 99.9% of them. And they're wonderful. And if you have any questions, pop them in the comments, because they will jump in and offer their advice, solicited advice, because that's how they are. And for example, I'll start it all off. I'm going to ask them right now. If you were giving advice to somebody new to vinyl records, what would you tell them? I've just listed 5 pitfalls. Now, what can we add to that for these folks that are just starting out in their journey? And before I go, just one last little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget to hit the like button and click subscribe. And as always, thank you for being here. I appreciate the fact that you are. And until next time, take care of yourself and enjoy your records.